So I get excited about that instead.
Yo, what up, Grizz Nation, and welcome to another Grizz 901. Coming off of a live win down in the grindhouse for your Grizzlies on the back of a 39-point total night for Jaren Jackson Jr., who was hot throughout the entire game. Could have went for 50 tonight if the Wizards didn't suck so bad. And so that's on the Wizards, honestly, and Jaren is just heating up, especially when Ja and Bane, Smart, and you kind of add them to the list of Vince and Gigi are all out. Jaren's going to have to be the guy who we kind of step behind a little bit and kind of ride the back up. We saw tonight that Ja Morant is on crutches. That is looks to be precautionary a little bit, but we're not sure exactly how long it's going to take. I think we'll find out a little bit more in the upcoming days. But the Grizzlies win 128-104 over the Washington Wizards. Nate's here. We're going to get into a full breakdown of the game as we always do. Then we're going to get into some Grizz Trivia, which I have a question. You ever heard of that song or that show, Name Your Tune? Well, I kind of want to find out how many guesses it's going to take for Nate to get this question right in Grizz Trivia. So we're going to have a fun night complete. They're going to do the look ahead and the look around the league as one of the two best teams went at each other tonight when the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland spanked them tonight, so it was a good game overall. But we have a lot to get into, and we're going to get into it with Nate. Yo, what up, Nate? Whoa, I like the hat. New? Who this? Oh, my God, you're on mute. I don't, maybe I put you on mute. You're good. Go ahead.
Do you remember these hats when they gave them away?
I don't.
This is a giveaway. Believe it or not, I did not pay money for this.
Okay.
I felt like Yuki Mania was the time to bring it out with the behind the back dish and then the actual bucket that we can celebrate real first. Hey, Hey, that might be the one judgment call people made about me that's true. I don't have it anymore.
Nate man can't jump. Shout out to you,
Yeah.
Wayno. That
That's
is
good.
great. I love I
Also
love the
true.
movie White Man Can't Jump. That is great. But the fact that one, you do kind of look a little bit like who's
Woody Harrelson?
Woody Harrelson. No, you're not the other guy. Because he's the one that
Oh,
had the flipped up cap.
yeah, sorry.
Anyway,
Well, I don't look like him.
yes and no. You're obviously not the skin color, but I'm saying you got the vibe of him. Anyway,
I got you. I got you.
we're gonna go with it. But tonight we're gonna be celebrating the win. We're gonna be celebrating the Yuki's first buckets, as Keith said. That three, him getting the crowd hype was pretty awesome. And then the fact that behind the back dish, it was awesome completely. But tonight we're gonna get into all of the game, just kind of over. We're gonna look at everything. The Wizards go down 104 to 128. If you're looking at this and you're seeing something different on the screen, we're going to try to keep this up for a little bit. It is a QR code. If you're joining us on Twitter, thank you as always. But if you could join us over on YouTube, I promise you there's a lot more people just like you commenting. The chat is always popping. But if you look at that QR code, it's to vote on the rookie of the month for October, as well as maybe the rookie first team, like kind of the rookie top 5. Then we're going to go to the best Grizzly in October and all of that. There's a lot that we're going to get into, but we want to vote on that. We're going to have the results at the next game, which is Wednesday, that we're going to be covering. So they play Sunday. Our next show will be on Wednesday when they play, and it's a late night. Man, I hate those West Coast road trips, but go ahead and scan the QR code there. But let's go ahead and get into it. We do see Art is in here. Edey, better than Sar. What's your thoughts? Let's get to that. Do you think Edey, if you had to do a redraft, do you think people would take Edey over Sar right now?
I mean, no, based off NBA GM trends, because they're like upside. The upside of Sar is immense, right? And it's way too early to be saying much. Rookie with no talent.
Wesley Snipes, by the way. Wesley Snipes. Thank
I
you.
actually had that marked for a second. It's hilarious that the same guy that plays in White Man Can't Jump also plays Blade.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Bring back Blade, by the way. You can't stream Blade anywhere, which is so annoying. I've been trying to watch the Blade trilogy for so long. Since Deadpool and Wolverine came out. Shout out to anybody who knows what I'm talking about. Daniel doesn't, because he thinks anything that's fun is nerdy. So, but back to Sar, the upside's so immense that people would still take Sar, pretty much hands down, in my opinion. But I mean, as far as who you would rather have right now, definitely Edey. I think Edey can contribute to winning much more now. One of the asterisks next to that is Sar does have to play for the Washington Wizards.
That's the issue. It's all about your team.
Yeah.
And his
yeah.
He could have struggles for sure.
Yeah.
I saw somebody posted in here that was from Twitter. I can't find it now. But anyway, let's go to
yes, it does.
Let's move on from Zach Edey, and let's actually move on to Jalen Wells. Another quick one. If you had a redraft right now, would Jalen Wells go in the top? Would Jalen Wells go in the first round?
Yes.
How high do you think that is? And Chad, let me know. I'm curious about this because we're very jaded. We're very biased, me and you, but also everybody else involved in the chat is obviously here listening to the Grizzlies. But I'm just in general. I want to know, how high do you think he goes? Just put a number in there as your kind of your baseline. Like, hey, I think he goes top 15 or whatever you put in there. I want to see what everybody else thinks, but also, what do you think, Nate?
In this draft, like lottery.
In the past draft.
No, that's what I'm saying. In this past draft, this happened. Lottery.
Lottery. Drew says lottery as well. So playing this well.
Now, again, I'm assuming that he plays to this ability through the end of the season, and then we get to the redraft for next year, right? You go back and do 2024 redraft. If he keeps playing to this level, I mean, easily hands down first round pick. Wow. And unless someone else starts going crazy, he would be a lottery pick.
Yeah. Marco says 18. I think that's the most right answer so far. Austin says top 15, just because I wouldn't say he's a little undersized. I think he's fine for what he is. But I think because of the potential word, I think that people could be going a little bit crazy on it, going top 10. I do think lottery is acceptable for completely. I think top 15, and as Marco said, top 18. I think top 15, top 18 are 100%, a lock. But I think you can easily get into the top 10. Drew has a very good point here. It can't be overstated how much he helps to go to a good team, though. And that's the biggest thing, is when you don't have to create yourself. And that's what these other guards and these other players, Ricochet, I think it's, I know we learned that that's the wrong way to say it from Adam Silver. I think it was on draft night when I heard it the first time. I go, hold on, how did he say his name? I think is how he said Ricochet. Anyway, I think that guys like that going to bad teams, they're having to create their own shot. Jalen Wells doesn't have to right now because he has a lot of good players around him.
It's also just playing in a trash organization. Like, what do you mean? But, dude, no, Davion Mitchell, by the way, went top 10. So I don't think if he had played to this ability on a bigger stage in college, I don't think it's crazy to see him as a lottery pick.
Is he 6'8"? God, dog, man, y'all are going so fast. I can't even keep up. I click on it and literally the screen moves. Is 6'8" undersized? That's not undersized. But is he 6'8"?
I don't.
Drew, is it?
I don't know. There's no way, right? Hold on.
If he is, I don't think he's 6'8". Now, I don't know if he stood on his tippy toes.
As he's 6'8". 6'8" and shoes with the
Google. Google says it says
I don't know about that, man.
206.
Let's go to ESPN. ESPN says 6'8". Let's see what Washington State said.
Lightning DJ says 6'6". Washington State says 6'8".
Everywhere says he's 6'8".
It is what it is. The fro is 3 inches. That's what it is. They measured the fro. I didn't think he was 6'8" personally. Now, if he is, obviously he does have the length. I'm curious. We'll have to dig in at some point and not on this show, dig into what his wingspan might be as well, because I'm curious what that looks like, because you're talking about like a guy like Marcus Smart, for example. He's a little bit shorter, but he has a longer wingspan, which allows him to play a little bit taller guys and to create that little bit of a size. And so I'm curious if that's how it is with Jalen Wells as well. Is like he has a 6'8", but he's also got a good wingspan because he looks really good on the court. But as Drew says, he doesn't look 6'8" on the court. I would assume that's probably a little bit of Jaren and Zach Edey effect as well. And Jay Huff's a 7'1". Yeah. So I'm curious if that's why it just kind of dwarfs him a little bit. But who's not 6'8"? Yuki.
He's 5'8", right?
I think he's 5'8". Before my kids went to bed, I was showing them Yuki. It was right before halftime. They went to bed around that time, and they were like, "Oh my God, he's so cute!" And we're just like looking at him on the sideline. It was just like, "Oh my God, Yuki mania is running wild in the career household." That's fine. The kids went to bed.
Now that one I got hyped for. I didn't get hyped for the free throws. Right. I got hyped for that.
Yeah, I didn't like the free throw. I hate that he had scored his first points on a free throw. Same. But it is what it is. I don't think those can be real points, personally.
Same. Now I want to go back to Jalen Wells just for a second because he's got really good length. He's clearly athletic. The thing I love about Wells is he just feels the game. Like he just makes the right play purely off of instinct. Like he defends really well purely off of instinct. Right. And I mean, and he's playing really well as a team defensive player, like all that. But it all comes from just having a natural instinct and feel for the game. Same thing with him playing in the post. You saw him tonight get out of a jam just with some great footwork. It's just a feel for how to play. And he's awesome, man. Credit to him because he did not look comfortable at all in Summer League. Came back and he looks awesome.
Yeah. And as Art helps us out here, 8'7" standing reach. Which is nice. And Austin said he's well coached. He is. And so he's becoming a player, man. And it's just like, how do you hit? Is Zach Kleiman and the organization? How do they hit so many of these kiddos? I'm thinking of what you're probably thinking about right now. But how do they keep hitting on these guys that are literally just second round picks? And they're just like they're nailing them. And so shout out to the franchise, shout out to the organization for hitting these guys. All right, so I got a question. One, that was the wife that delivered that. I thought it was you paying attention because you text me on the side. You're on baby duty right now in case kiddo does wake up. I thought
Not
that
anymore.
was you. Okay, so you're good. All right, question. Where is Goon?
I was waiting for someone to ask this. I was waiting to ask
Goon's
this.
not here.
He'll be here. He's committed to the bit. If nothing else, he's committed to the bit.
He's definitely committed.
He'll
All right, so let's see. There he is. He didn't face nobody good tonight. Shout out to you, Goon. Living it up. I like it. All right, let's go away from Jaren real quick because we will get into him. I can't talk here in a second. Let's go to what Keith is saying. Am I bugging or did I miss you talk about Scottie Pippen Jr.? We did not. There is no direction to this show ever. We don't talk before the show just so y'all are aware. There is maybe a minute of talk like, hey, you good? Cool, I can hear you. All right, cool. All right, I'm pushing the button. That's literally the only thing we talk about. So it is just the chat. Whatever y'all say, we go with. So I do want to get to Scottie Pippen Jr. Tonight, he did go off for a triple-double. Thoughts on him because he did have – let me pull it up real quick. I'm a little lagging. Let me get to his exact stats if you don't mind.
11 and 10 or something like that.
11, 10, and 11. So shout out to Scottie Pippen Jr. Thoughts on Scottie?
He has impressed me a ton. I was a little worried coming out of the preseason. I was like, okay, now he's going against NBA guys. The summer league stuff doesn't look like nearly as good. Or it doesn't look nearly as good as it did in the summer league. And in the first game, I was like, it still looks like he's just gambling. He's getting all these fouls early. But credit to him, he keeps getting better. He keeps improving. He didn't get into foul trouble tonight, which I think that says a lot about him and his maturity.
Right.
Well, easy. We'll get there. Easy. But the maturity is when he's playing behind Ja, I can go gamble. I can try and go get these steals. I can play sort of handsy defense because if I get in foul trouble, okay, what are they going to do? Switch back to John Morant? That's okay. Tonight, there are no other guards to come in behind him. Not really. It's point guard by committee to let Luke run it a little bit. But he knows he's got to be available. He doesn't get into foul trouble. And I think stuff like that says a lot about a player's maturity and understanding the role you're in on a given night. Right. So he has been beyond impressive. I know I saw somebody tweet out today. I have no idea who it was. But just lineups once his team's healthy and Scottie was sort of spot minutes trade bait and whatever it was. I can't remember who it was. I just remember thinking, I was like, nah, man, like he's earning these minutes. He's really earning these minutes, in my opinion. So, dude, he's earned that NBA contract and more. Shout out to the Grizzlies getting another guy on a cheap contract.
It's crazy what he's doing. And the fact that he can step in and look – the offense looks fluid. And honestly, I don't know if anybody paid attention to this. His first half numbers were not good. And I don't know if people realize that, but it was the Jaren show. It was more of everybody else doing stuff. But the Grizzlies go through a lull, as they always do in the third quarter. Coming out of halftime, Scottie kind of demanded the ball a little bit more. He was making more of the plays, and he was controlling the game in a sense. And that's where he excelled, is in that third quarter and through the early part of the fourth quarter, is he really did excel and just kind of pass the ball and distribute the ball properly. And that's really where the Grizzlies clicked at the end of that. They were clicking all game. They were obviously leading, but they really clicked at the end of that third quarter, going into the fourth quarter, and they look so much better. And a lot of it does, shout out to Scottie. I know he is in the, we have this over on YouTube. So if you're watching on Twitter, thank you. But if you come over to YouTube, we have our poll already up. Who is the Memphis Grizzlies player of the game? We're about to celebrate who exactly is the player of the game, but you can go ahead and go and vote on it now. It looks like it's going to be Jaren. I don't know how it could be anybody else, but if you had to give anybody else a runner-up, it had to be Scottie. Scottie played well tonight, but he really was a guy that was able to distribute the ball and play well that second half for sure.
One vote will go to not Jaren.
Goon, who you're
not
for?
Sneaky. You're not sneaky, Goon. But part of what happened also was Jaren went out in that third quarter. There's a really big stretch they were playing without him, and Scotty really took control during that time. Jaren was off the floor. And that's what you want to see, and shout out to the entire team, including the coaching staff. They have sort of figured out how to, even if a team starts to kind of jab back in, they don't lose control in the third quarter. They don't let go of the rope. Obviously, it's early. They'll still have to make some more adjustments along the way. I'm sure there will be more third quarter struggles, but early season adjustment is a really good one to see.
100%. And so the Grizzlies win 128-104 over the Washington Wizards. And then we have the Grizz 901 player of the game. So the Grizz 901 player of the game, it's got to be our guy, Jaren Jackson Jr. 39 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, but 5 from beyond the arc. So your thoughts on Triple J?
3 Michelin stars. I don't know. I was trying to find something with 3, and that's the best I could come up with on those. It's pretty terrible, but he's awesome. He's great at basketball. I don't know why Goon's so mad. I'm sure that he just wanted to be friends, and Jaren didn't see him, but Jaren would be your friend. He's a nice guy.
Jaren is a nice guy.
Jaren's a stud, dude. I'm telling you, he just dominates. We talked about it last game. He just dominates when he wants to. I mean, there you go. Austin just put in there. Dominant is the right word.
Yeah.
Dominates the game when he's in there. And it's really nice because when you have this team healthy, I mean, it's one of those pick your poisons because now he can be a go-to scorer. You have to double him. It takes a truly elite big defender to stop him down low now. Like an AD, Porzingis, who, despite not seeming like a great post defender, is a great post defender. Those are the kind of guys. Other than that, can't beat him. So great to see him take control like this. That's part of the fruits from last year is when Ja's out, when Dez is out, Jaren's used to being able to go to this role. So
100%.
Shout out to him, man. He continues to get better and better.
He stepped up a lot, and the maturity in his game has been good. As Art's saying here, JV's a little bit too slow for him, but also Star is a little bit, too weak in a sense. And so it's hard to kind of play him. If you're too big, he's going to, just kind of go around you quickly. But if you're not strong enough, then honestly, he's going to kind of beat you down. But I have to give a shout out to Jaren. Played very well tonight. Was a guy that was through and through the best player on the court all night long. So Jaren Jackson Jr. is the Grizz 901 player of the game with 39 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, and 5 3-pointer. Up next, we're going to go ahead and go live here to FedEx Forum as we bring in our guy, Parrish Sharkey. Yo, Parrish, what's up, man?
What's up? What's good, Greer? What's good, Nate? How y'all doing?
We're good, man. We're good. So what's going on? So did you get out of I'm guessing you just got done speaking with Coach.
Yep.
Anything come out of there?
Not too much to take away from it. I mean, it was a great game. The team, they won blowout fashion. They took care of business. Is very excited about Yuki and getting his step at 3-pointer. Said he'd been attempting it for a lot of his late game minutes. He finally got one to go. So yeah, not really much to really hop on tonight. Spoke about Jaren, just how he's playing coming out for last season, all the things he worked on with everyone out, and how it's carry over to this season. It just a great team win. I also gave a real good shout out to Scottie Pippen Jr. and how his improvement even from last season. Although he played well, he had high turnovers. Now he had triple double tonight, but he only had 2 turnovers with his 10 assists. So yeah, all around good team performance tonight.
All right. Well, obviously everybody's coming in with the hashtag Ask Parrish, and so they're already coming in. So listen, everybody's they're being trained, and so shout out to Drew, Art, Black Nina DJ. There's questions coming in.
Go ahead.
The obvious answer is any update on Ja?
Nope. You won't know till tomorrow. We all know the same at the same time. Whenever they update on tomorrow.
Do we have
it's so funny.
Go ahead.
What's so funny is, like someone was asking him the question in the locker room the other night, right? And he was like, "All right, you follow GrizzPR?"
Right. Check with them. All right. All right. So obviously everybody wants to know about that, but Black Ninja DJ wants to know about has there been any status on Vince or a plan for him, because he's now being sent down to the G League and he did practice today with them before being brought back to the main squad. So any thoughts or any news or rumors or anything on him on when he might be coming back?
No update on his status, but that seems promising for him. They already go practice with the G League team. They already kind of things starting to getting him in workout. So I would say expect him back within the next week. They do have a road trip coming up, so we'll see if they decide to bring him back during the road trip. They have a game Sunday against Portland, Wednesday against the Lakers, then Friday at Golden State before they return home. So that might be a question that we might know an answer on that soon. But I figure he's on the way back.
All right. Well, make sure you stay tuned to BCM Grizzlies. Paris Sharkey, the beat reporter for the Grizzlies, will be maybe having something on that. Obviously, that's what could come out of the conversations with the players. We have a couple more, and then we'll get you out of here. I don't want to keep you forever tonight, but Wayno does have another question. Is what do you think of the small ball lineup? And I do have a follow up to this one in a second. But Pippen Jr., Wells, BC, Santi, and Triple J. That kind of went small tonight, but you did have that was the starters, correct? Yeah, that was the starting lineup. So, what's your thoughts on it first of all, and then I'll ask my follow up.
I say I don't really think that's I guess since that Edey didn't start, it's considered small, but I mean Jaren 6'11", Daniel Wells 6'8", Santi 6'11". I don't know if that's necessarily a small lineup.
It's definitely not small. What's your speculation on reasoning as to why Clark and Edey swapped tonight?
I have no clue. My best reason is thinking is that Edey can feast off the bench in the matchup against the Wizards. I would have loved to see him start against JV, but hey, Brandon Clark has been struggling some this season. He plays well with Jaren Jackson. Maybe that was the thought process into it. I actually forgot to ask that question after they win the game. You kind of just honestly you forget.
God, Parrish.
That's the last thought. That's the last thought I had.
Well, my speculation was because JV normally does not start for them ever. He has not started a game all year.
See, I haven't watched the Wizards game, so
see. So I think what happened is they were like, "Hey, we're gonna start JV to go up against Edey." And then TJ was going, "You know what? We're gonna put Edey on the bench so he can match up with JV better." And then they didn't. The coaches need to talk before the game so they can just pick the starters if you don't mind. All right, so
that makes sense.
Yeah, so I have I think this is my last one. All right, yeah, this is my last one, and then we'll get you out of here. We do have a Yuki sighting tonight. The crowd is obviously going wild. How unhealthy of an obsession is it with the Grizzlies, or the fans in general with Yuki?
You gotta have that one bench guy that you just love. Like it's like a walk on in college, right? You always gotta have the guy you want to come in at the end of the game and just jack shots. I was talking with DeMichael, and it kind of Yuki reminds me. I don't know if y'all watched Nebraska. Nebraska had a game in the NCAA tournament here at the Ferris Forum last year, and they had a guard. I think he was Japanese as well.
He was.
I forgot his name, Tommy Naga or something like that. He reminds me a lot of him, just his antics, how he hit the threes and he had like pump the crowd up. So you always got to have that type of player. I ain't gonna say it's unhealthy. Well, I'd say later in the year we still yelling. We want Yuki after every single game, every single blowout, maybe. But first couple games, it's fine.
All right. Are you going to be covering Yuki at all in South Haven?
Probably not.
I've already told my kids we're going to go see a game and see the Hustle play. At least to let them see Yuki. They love Yuki now too. So we got to check it out. But all right, so you're about to go in and talk with the players. Anything any questions you have to try to get out of that maybe that you want to kind of ask them to find out answers to?
I want to ask Jaren how he felt about getting benched after getting 39 points, falling short of 40 points.
Is that a real question?
Not in the exact way, but I will ask about him not being able to get 40.
Wow. All right. Parrish, you are the best. We'll let you get out of here, but thank you for stopping by as always. Enjoy your night and have fun chatting with the guys.
All right, yeah, appreciate it.
We'll see you, man. All right, that is Parrish Sharkey. He is now going in to hang out with the players and kind of see if he can kind of get some questions to them and kind of find out if there are any thoughts to Jaren being benched. Bench is a strong word. Being pulled from the game after scoring 39 points. Would you have let him, as a coach, go get the 40-point?
I'd have given him one more possession. Well, no, the Wizards called a timeout.
The Wizards called the timeout.
No.
They were unloading the bench. You keep your best player in the game?
No, dude. Like, look at your injury report.
Exactly.
If the Wizards hadn't called a timeout, I would have let him have a couple more possessions to try and get it, and then I would have called a timeout and pulled him. But since they called a timeout, and just pull him. No, if it was like, dude, this is the Memphis Grizzlies. We should be more scared of the injury bug than any other team in the NBA. So, nah, dog. No, as a matter of fact, I might put him in bubble wrap as soon as he got to the bench, just in case.
He's like, all right, we're up by 20. Let's, you know what? Chill. I don't want you even. We'll come over and carry you to the bench. Like, we don't need anything else happening.
Okay, let's get to this too. That team is cheeks, dude. That's the kind of team that will hurt somebody completely on accident. They're the guys that almost hurt Jaren like 3 times, and they were trying to play basketball, but they just tangled up in his legs. They bull rushed his ribs. They're just playing basketball. I don't think it's dirty at all. I just think they're really bad at basketball.
They're like baby giraffes, like learning to walk. Like, because honestly, these guys, I guarantee, they have grown so much in the last few years that they don't have their, I guess, their extremities like really lined up just yet. Like, it's going to take a second to them. They're still great. They're one of, they're top 1% athletes. I'm just saying they don't have their full coordination just yet. Like, they're there, but the next few years, as they grow into their manlyhood, their man body, as I like to call it, I believe that they'll really kind of coordinate a little bit more. But I do think that they're a little sloppy, and that they kind of remind me so much of baby giraffes, for sure. But let's move on from that, and let's kind of tie a bow on this game. The Grizzlies obviously win 128-104 over the Washington Wizards. Anything else that you have on this game?
Oh, yeah, that Wizard seems real bad.
We've heard.
That Wizard team is like, I thought the Bulls are bad. I don't think the Bulls are good. I thought the Nets are bad. I think the Nets are better than I thought they were. I have to give some credit to do. They're kind of like that scrappy team that's never going to make any kind of deep playoff run, but could definitely beat any team on any given night if they're overlooked. That Wizards team is bad. Dude, Jordan Poole is contract.
He's bad.
Possibly in the history of the NBA. I mean,
what do they do in the next 4 years? Seriously.
Listen, the only thing they have is that they're not the Cleveland Browns. That's the only thing that they have. There's worse contracts in the world than Jordan Poole.
Oh, yeah.
So that's all you got. But,
yeah,
dude, that's terrible. I saw some people earlier saying, like, hey, save JV. That's pretty good.
He got his money.
Yeah, no, don't save JV. I don't actually feel bad for JV. He got a bunch of money. But he knew what he was doing. Go get your money. Stick it out. Get traded to a contender sometime soon.
But before the last game, I know we ended talking about JV a little bit and him getting a double-double and how he might be a guy that you go after. No. Like, after seeing tonight, like, he's fine, but he's not a guy I would really want, just because he is fine, but like, I don't think he fits our style at all. And for a guy that wants to come off the bench, now, I'm not the biggest BC fan right now. I think he does struggle, but I think that BC gives you a little versatility. But I don't think that's on me. But I'm going to go ahead and kind of finish up. I don't think you have anything else to kind of put on this. Looks like you're trying to write something, so I'm trying to stall for you a little bit. But if you need a shot, looks like King Meeks is at the Cigar Lounge. Everybody, as we're
that place is dope, by the way.
Giving everybody your details.
This place is awesome. Okay, you want to know why JV looks terrible?
Why? The Wizards.
Wizards. I couldn't find a Sharpie, so I just had to use a regular pen.
That's all right. Sorry. Well,
He
I was
knows
trying
who
to.
he's playing for. He's not trying to get hurt out there. He's trying to get his money. That's it.
I was trying to rush you a little bit so we could move on from this. But all right, so that's enough about the game. The Grizzlies do pick up the big win, and now they're going to be going into looks like it is Portland on Sunday, and then our next show will be Wednesday against the Lakers. To which I got a chance to talk to Roger Lodge. Do you remember Roger Lodge in chat? Does anybody remember Roger Lodge from Blind Date back in the late 90s, early 2000s? He was the host of Blind Date. I think it was MTV. Anyway, Roger Lodge, he does Anaheim Angels radio out there. And then when it's not the Angels, season, his show is called the Sports Lodge. And so he actually had me on ESPN radio with the Sports Lodge. Goon says UPN. Man, maybe it was. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, he had me on. Want to kind of discuss a little bit of the Grizzlies and the Lakers rivalry. So it was cool to kind of speak with him for a little bit, but also kind of just kind of be on the radio for ESPN out there in good old Southern Cal. So. Pretty cool. But all right, so let's go ahead and move it on. And we're going to get into King Meeks. I know he's here. We're going to get into Grizz Trivia. All right, Nate. All right, so we're going to play a little bit of a different game tonight, Nate. How many guesses do you think it will take you to guess the top 10 of my question? My question is, after Jaren scored whatever he scored last game, he then moved up into 7th place into the Grizzlies all-time scorers, franchise scores. How many guesses do you think it would take for you to name the top 10 Memphis Grizzlies all-time franchise scores?
9.
Wow. You would get all of them because you already have Jaren.
I gave up.
Huh?
That's just 9 before I give up.
Okay.
All right, let's do this.
Let's do Mark. Yep. Mark is number 2 at 11,684.
Mike
is the first, 11,733.
Zebo
is third with 9,261.
All right.
Those are the 3 easy ones.
Rudy
Gay is 5th, 8,562.
Are you counting Vancouver? Is Vancouver counting this?
It does.
Sharif?
Sharif is 6th. He's in front of Jaren. He has 7,801.
So including Jaren, I got 5 so far.
Yep, you're missing the 4th one, and then 8, 9, and 10.
There's one that I feel like it's like you wouldn't think, but he is. Okay, let me ask you this. Is one of them one of these guys who like is very polarizing amongst current Grizzlies fans and purely due to the volume of shots is why he's in there?
You're trying to get me to hand you that. Just guess.
Dylan
is number 10, 5,002. Okay. So everybody below him does not have 5,000. So he is the bottom, at least the top 10. You have to have 5,000 to kind of get in the club. So he is at 5,002.
Okay. Oh, yeah, Pau
Gasol is 4th, 8,966. You are missing 2.
Missing 2. Not gonna guess that. No, there's no way. Is Ja already in there?
Ja is 9th at 5,948. He is exactly 34 points behind the 8th place person.
So he's 8, and that's who I don't have yet, is 8th.
You don't have the 8th place person. He is 34 points behind him. Obviously, we'll pass him, and he'll catch Jaren. Yeah, he'll blow past Jaren this year, and I would believe that he'll get close to 6th or 5th, maybe, depending on how many he scores. The beat.
I'm not guessing the beat. Is this?
You're doing pretty good.
Is this like early-ish Grizz?
Oh my God! Just name a guy.
Oh, come on, man! I want a hint.
It's early. Yeah. One of the OGs.
One of the OGs.
Stro Miles Swift is 16th with 3,829.
Lorenzen,
right. He is 19th with 3,148. People have guessed this like crazy. I just don't want to tell you who guessed it in case you're looking at the chat.
No, I'm not looking. I'm making a point to not look. Is that too far back, OG?
You're right there around it.
Right there at it. Big country.
Wayno killed it earlier. 4,945. He's 11th. Big country. A lot of people are asking.
Oh, stupid. Mike
Miller is 5,982.
Two-step Mike. I can't believe I forgot.
Some other guys, this guy should be into the 5,000 club and can honestly be top 10 and jump over Dylan Brooks this year is Desmond Bain. He has 4,347.
Wow.
So obviously he would need 653 to get in there and then 655 to tie with Dylan this year. And so, or I'm sorry, whatever the number was. That's what he did. So
I can't believe I didn't think of two-step Mike. That drives me crazy. I did good. I did better than I thought I would.
Yeah, you did really good. Black Ninja, aka Jaws Agent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. It should be easy to remember him.
Yep. So Mike Miller, definitely a guy who is into the lore of Grizzlies fans. The great thing about that is once Desmond Bain jumps over Dylan, that moves Dylan out of 10th. Kind of cool. Sorry, I've never been a Dylan fan. But I'm going to do something a little bit different. So from Grizz Trivia, we're going to do obviously the look around and the look ahead. But because we're kind of midway through the show, from now on, I'm going to try to go ahead and do the look ahead. And because of that, we're going to go ahead and go straight to the video. One, it gets us a break. Two, kind of look ahead to the next game, and then we can search around the league a little bit. So let's go ahead and do the look ahead to the Blazers.
Let's talk about Sunday's matchup for the Grizzlies at the Portland Trail Blazers. The Portland Trail Blazers, this will be their first home game after a recent 4-game road stretch. So maybe they're looking to play a little better at home. This team is not very good right now. They are currently 3-6, and the biggest problem to me has been their offense so far. In the 9 games that they've played so far, the Blazers have only scored over 110 points 3 times. And the 3 times they did, they were 2-1 in those games. They played the Pelicans twice, once when the Pelicans were sort of at full strength, and the second when they were absolutely decimated injury-wise. The one loss where they did score over 110 points, they lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder, which we know is a juggernaut in the West. They lost 114-137. So most of those were probably garbage time minutes. The kind of thing you can say, maybe if you want to defend the Blazers offense a little bit, is that the teams that they've been playing so far are teams that have been in the top 10 to top 11 in defensive efficiency this year. So the Grizzlies, that I think we can fairly say are at least an average defense, not elite. The teams that they've been playing so far this season have been on the side of elite defensively. So the Blazers are just a very vanilla offense. Most of their stuff is in high pick and roll. If they can create an advantage off that, then fine. They run standard offensive sets like everyone does. So this is not a flashy team that is going to give you a lot of different looks. The only kind of different look that we're seeing this year is DeAndre Ayton is actually shooting some threes every once in a while. I think last year he shot 11 total in the season. I think already through 9 games, he's shot 11 this year. And that's not counting the Timberwolves game because we don't have the result of that yet. But there is not a lot going on offensive wise for this team. This looks like the Grizzlies half-court offense high pick and roll, everyone else just stand around and let them be creative for them. So for the Grizzlies, I think the point of attack defense has to be the reason why the Grizzlies win this game. If they're constantly going to break down from the wing, and especially at the top of the key on the initial dribble drive from Simons or from Anthony Simons, and get in trouble with that DeAndre Ayton pick and roll, then it could be a long night and the Grizzlies always be scrambling in rotation defensively. If they can hold up at the point of attack on defense, I think this will be a favorable game. It will probably be close depending on, our injury report on who is or who is not playing. But even if we have top guys out, the Blazers are such a bland offensive team that this still could be a close enough game where the Grizzlies could steal one.
Always be scrambling, as Ryan says. I don't know. I looked at your face because I can see Nate whenever the videos are going, but I saw that. Did you hear Ryan always be scrambling?
Sounds like a Ryan thing to say.
When I was sent the recording, I died laughing, and I don't think I ever told him, but it's just a couple of the informational stuff. It was just saying he kept catching himself, and it was just always be scrambling, always the Trailblazers be bad, and I'm just like, all right. So Art says, I didn't know you had those breakdowns. So that is Ryan Meadows, who's kind of our third man, but somebody that's kind of helping behind the scenes in a sense. And so he is the guy that kind of replaces, one of us when we're not there on a consistent basis. Sometimes we'll bring in other guys like the $2 Sports Show. Drew and Rusty are good, as well as Luke. We'll have other guys throughout the Blood City Media. But Ryan's kind of our guy that can fill in on a consistent basis. But Ryan's going to do those. We consistently do those as the look ahead to the next game as we take on the Portland Trailblazers on Sunday. You're not going to have a show for that, as we don't do weekend shows. But I do have something else that I want to share because I think this is important. I think if you want to get involved a little bit with Grizz 901, by all means. My thought is, if there's anybody that wants to get more involved on the back end stuff, such as any cutting of video or cutting clips, or if you're into that kind of post-production work, honestly, we'd love to be able to see if you can, help us out a little bit. So if there's anything that you want to be, that you want to be doing, that you would like to be interested, or interested to be doing, I can't talk.
Daniel be scrambling.
Yeah, I'd be scrambling right now. If there's anything that you're interested in doing on the back end stuff, reach out to me. You can reach out to @Grizz 901 Live. You can hit Nate up at Grizz Homer. You can hit me up at Daniel Greer. Love to have you. Honestly, a lot of this stuff. Okay, all of this stuff is because of Nate and I. So anything that you see on the screen on the show is stuff that we produce, that we make. And so a lot of it is important. And so most of it is from us putting in the work. So if there's anything that you want to do on the post-production stuff, if you have ideas, we'd love to have them. We'd love to be able to make people part of the team. We only have so much that we can give up of the show. But I think the back end stuff to really be able to grow what this is, this brand, this show. And so anything that you're interested in, just reach out to me. I see Black and DJ says intrigued. Listen, by all means, any help is great. So Black and DJ says, at least Ryan's audio is better. Well, he moved, and so he does have a better audio for sure. Austin says, I think Ryan's on the coast. I think he's down in Biloxi now. I have not visited him since he's moved down there out of Neverland. But let's go ahead and look to the Blazers. And then after the Blazers, let's wrap oh, my God. Let's wrap up as we look around the league. But let's go ahead and look ahead. The Grizzlies take on our guy, Donovan Clingan.
Whose guy?
Donovan Clingan.
That ain't our guy. That may be your guy. He's not my guy.
In general, he was the guy that everybody wanted for the most part.
Not everybody. I was very clear about who I wanted. There was never a question about who Nate wanted the Grizzlies to draft. So it was not Donovan Clingan.
It wasn't Edey.
No, it wasn't Edey either. It was
Okay.
Daron Holmes. I always wanted Daron Holmes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Always wanted Daron Holmes.
I got you. And Wayno says you're all in on Hollins. I think
I did like Holland, but
yeah,
I assumed he'd be gone by the time they got there.
Yeah. Is that Ron Holland? I would assume.
Yeah.
Okay. Art saying who? Yeah. So Daron Holmes, you loved him,
Achilles preseason,
but not at 9. You were thinking like he would be there later on if they traded
where they got him.
True.
I didn't care where they got him. I mean, it's a shame. For anyone that know Daron Holmes out of Dayton, he played for Dayton.
Yep.
That's amazing that I know where a guy played college. By the way, that's not what I do.
He's your guy.
He is my guy. I just remember red, and he could fly. I think he still has a chance to be a really good player, but towards Achilles, like right off the bat, right after the Nuggets drafted him, basically.
Yeah.
It's a shame. I mean, that's a injury that if you're not established can be, I mean, a really, really big deal. So hate it for him, but I was all in on Holmes.
All right. Well, the Portland oh my God. I swear. I don't know if I took a gummy, like somebody slipped something in my drink. I don't know what happened, but I can't speak. But the Portland Trailblazers are now 3-7. They lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight, 127-102. The game overall, it looks like it was dominated by our guy, Anthony Edwards, 37 points. Julius Randle, 22 points. Naz Reid, 15. DiVincenzo with 14 points. But if you look at their team, the highest scorer on their team was 16 points. Scoot Henderson off the bench. Yeah.
But this is the kind of team that the Grizzlies can't take lightly.
100%.
Because it could be a game where your highest score is 16 on below 50% shooting.
Right.
It could also be one of those games where Simons can't miss from deep and Jeremy Grant is getting everything he wants to get and Shadon Sharp is getting everything he wants to get. Like, they're one of those teams that could score 80 or 130 on any given night.
Yeah.
So, especially against, like, if the Grizzlies have a letdown with this current roster makeup, like, they're not defending the three and just giving up open shots, that could be rough. So, you do have to always be scrambling.
Oh yeah, I'm just like I'm scrambling, and Lightning DJ said I'm talking like Yosemite Sam. My God, it's bad. I can't. I'm just glad it's on this show. The Yabba Dabba Doo got me. I'm just glad it's on this show and not the Driving the Line show, because I would be getting just roasted, toasted, and pulled off the screen.
Yeah, lucky I have a cough too. I'd still be getting more.
So Jeremy Grant obviously is there. Denny Abdia is there as well. He only had 9 points and 5 rebounds. Ayton Simons, Jarris Walker. Is it Keegan Murray? That's got to be Keegan Murray, right? That's his brother, right? Yeah. Chris Murray. I was about to say Keegan's the better one. Chris Murray. Robert Williams, speaking of him, 13 points tonight. Klingon, Shaden Sharp, Delano Banton, Scoot Henderson, Ryan Rupert. Like, these are all, like, if you're a draft guy, like, hey, if you've watched the draft, I would assume that we got Black Nina DJ over here just loving this team because it's literally loaded with draft prospects. And they're just not good. Like, they don't have a guy that is their guy. And then you have a guy that like Ayton, who isn't a guy that you would want on your team, in my opinion. And so I would assume that they're going to be athletic. And if you allow them to kind of hang around and be athletic and not control the game, they can run off from you for sure. But if you control the game and kind of do what you need to do, I think this is a game that the Grizzlies should handle. I think they just need to put them away by half.
Defend the 3-point line.
Okay.
That is the only way that team can beat them.
All right.
They got nothing for Jaren. They can keep up with a decent amount of threes. But if they let that team start popping off from deep, that's when they'll be in trouble.
Yeah. And they have size everywhere. They have centers everywhere. And as Art's asking, like, Robert Williams is back. He is back. He played tonight. I don't know. I haven't kept up with them much at all. very early in the season, but I haven't kept up with much. And I do see that he is. It is R. Williams. Yeah, Robert Williams. 13 points tonight. But let's go ahead and look around the league. I don't think we need to spend too much time on them. Golden State, who the Grizzlies play on Wednesday, the game that we'll be covering. Golden State got punked tonight. They actually came back, but they ended up losing 136 to 117. But at halftime, what was it?
80, 39 points. It's a 39-point lead.
Yeah, 83 to 42. 83 to 42. My God. That was at halftime. And then they outscored them, which when you're up that much and you still win by 19, that just shows that they closed it late and it doesn't look as bad, but that game had to be gone very early on. So, but it's a team that I want to kind of look into real quick. You know, they do have Draymond Green. Curry is back. And then they also have a guy that is Trace Jackson Davis out of Indiana. Go Hoosiers. He's playing decent, but I think we have the athleticism and the size to go against him. Gary Payton II. Just be careful of Dylan Brooks. But Kuminga looked okay tonight, but a lot of that's going to be trash time. But guess who's on that team? Kyle Anderson and DeAnthony Melton. Be cool seeing them again.
I mean, yeah, I hate that they played for the not Melton, but Kyle played for the Wolves and then the Warriors. Like that's painful, but still like both those guys. Still wish those guys the best, man. I mean, I can't help but love both those dudes. So we'll see, man. I mean, with the roster the way it is, that Warriors team could give them trouble for sure. I mean, that would be they'll be for sure underdogs. I'd imagine it's 4.5 plus when that line hits. So
that much?
Yeah, I would think so. Unless you're getting guys back.
Yeah, true.
At their place with that roster.
That's true. Yeah, they're playing well. 4.5 probably is a good number. But anything else around the league that you want to hit on? I see outside of the league that the Memphis Tigers are playing football right now. There's not a lot of people here tonight, and that is completely fine. It's a Friday night. A lot of people are going to be going, the Grizzlies game, going out afterwards. They might be going from the Grizzlies game, maybe going to the Tigers game. Yeah, there's no telling. They might be. There's no telling where they could be. The reason I say that is because they are winning 17-13. But as King Meek's saying, if they lose to Rice, I'll go get Dan Mullen ASAP. Well, I'd go get Dan Mullen no matter what.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you can get Dan Mullen, I'd go ahead and do it.
But the Hornets beat the Pacers by 20 tonight. Pistons beat the Hawks. The Hawks are trash. Magic beat the Pelicans. Pelicans are struggling.
Yep.
Celtics came back and beat the Nets after a first quarter from the Nets. It was bad for a while. They came back in the first quarter and closed out. Ended up playing well.
Dude,
they combined though for 33 points. They combined for 33 points in the fourth quarter, those two teams. Ugly basketball.
I feel like every night right now has half blowouts and half like completely nip-tuck games. Like coming down to the last two shots of the games. And then you have teams losing by 20 or 30.
Right.
Like, I don't feel like there's very many like, hey, they lost by 8.
Right.
You're not seeing much of that right now. I don't want to hit on it again, but like the Bucks lost by 20 again tonight.
They're bad.
Dog, that's ending unless something crazy happens. Nuggets.
Hold on, real quick question on that. Do you think Giannis gets moved this season?
Dame goes first.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, if you can, yeah, but I don't. It would depend if Giannis asks to go or not. If he doesn't ask to go, then no. But if he asks to go, then yeah, probably. Okay. Bad to guess. It's just a matter of if he reaches that breaking point, which it's way different with different guys. So you don't know. He's won a championship there. He has become everything about who he is there. So it's more than LeBron wanting to leave the Heat or something like that, Yeah.
Art says Giannis will ask out. I think if he gets traded, he'll have to ask. I don't know if they'll just straight up trade him. if they'll ask him and he'll say, I asked to save face maybe for them. I don't know. Either way.
If it stays on this trajectory, he'll ask out. But, I mean, they'll try and make other moves before that to keep him happy and keep him there. Just if you can do it. Should have never traded Drew Holiday.
Well, and the other thing is Chris Middleton cannot stay healthy.
Yeah, but Drew Holiday allowed you to keep it afloat and the entire defensive scheme, which even like I was big on you should not move Drew Holiday. Like I just don't think that the offense Dame brings makes up for the all around that Drew Holiday brought. And I could have never guessed it would be that huge of an impact.
I got a question. So a lot of people have talked about with Giannis and the Grizzlies, and Wayno's asking a good question here. And I'm gonna kind of throw the Houston Rockets out of it because I'm not saying they don't have picks or whatever. I just don't know what Milwaukee would want out of that. There's no like guy that, hey, we'll make that trade no matter, because I think if you want the picks and you're Milwaukee, I think you can get them. Whatever picks you ask for, legitimately, I think you can get. I don't think the picks are going to be the issue. But let's talk about OKC. Would you, if you wanted to trade for Giannis and they were asking for Chet and Jalen Williams, like those two guys plus whatever people to make up the money and picks, as an OKC fan, would you do that?
I'm not an OKC fan, to be clear.
If you were that front office,
probably not. Probably not, because you're getting an amazing player. Like, there's no doubt about it, and he would be the best player on that team. I mean, he might be the best player in the world still. You know, it's just he's unbelievably good. But OKC is easily the favorite to win the West.
Yeah,
as is, and the contracts they've got allow them to be so flexible with they're crazy deep, just like the Grizzlies were when you had Ja on his first contract, right? And Jaren was still in his first contract. So the fact that you're really only paying SGA right now and you're still winning this much, it's hard to sacrifice that, especially because it's always an unknown. There is no guarantee Giannis comes in, and despite the fact he is a better player than anything they have, there's no guarantee that works better with what they're doing and the way that they operate. Could it? Sure, but like, what's OKC missing other than experience?
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
They've got shooting. They've got the superstar. They've got two more guys that are likely going to be all-stars, maybe not this year, but soon, in the next 2 to 3 years. You've got all the role players, shooting, defense. The only thing that you're missing is the experience of having done it before.
Right.
And this is not to discount like Giannis, how amazing he is. It's just same thing. Dame's amazing. That's been a disaster.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. If I was OKC, I would trade Chet for him. I would definitely trade Jalen Williams for him as well. I would trade one of those guys for him plus picks, 100%. I don't know if I'd trade two because they have a plethora of picks more than they have a plethora of talent. Even though they have talent, I would trade one. I wouldn't trade two. He's better than both of those guys. Giannis is. I think it's understood.
Yeah.
But it's just like, what does Milwaukee want back? Do they want to take on whatever contracts and then maybe take them and flip them for something else and keep the spiral going? At that point, you get 5 first and whatever else, plus maybe Chet, plus you take whoever you bring back that's making the money work, and then you flip them around for some other picks, and you just keep it going until you eventually just kind of squeeze the lemon so much to get all the juice out. At that point, you can kind of rebuild. Right now, they're done. Like, they cannot rebuild with what they have.
And I'm with you. But you can go get picks anywhere. If you're going to OKC, you're asking for players. They've got too many young players that are sure things, as opposed to any pick, no matter how high it is always a shot in the dark.
Are we sure?
Sure about what?
Are we sure that they have that many good players?
Yes, you would not just take picks from OKC. You would take an Isaiah Joe. You would take a Lou Dort at the very least for that. 100%. 100% you would do that. And that's the other part of that is like you can't discount what those guys do for that team and the way they fit that puzzle, you know? And also I know like you have like a bajillion picks, but the way that you're going to have to start team building with the new CBA, those picks also are way more valuable. Like you want to continue to draft talent and develop talent because you're going to need those contracts when you're paying SGA, when you're paying Chet, when you're paying Jalen Williams. Not to mention, sub one of those out, the Giannis contract's going to dwarf what those are.
Right.
Right. So it's those picks matter when you are thinking about trying to build around your guys.
Fair enough. We have one more, then we'll kind of get out of here. But Arch got something in here for Kuminga, Pazinski, Wiggins, and then multiple picks going to the Warriors for Giannis. That's interesting. I think it would be incredible to see Steph with the Giannis, just because you don't have to worry about having a center, a back line, because you do have Giannis to play all that. And if you don't space enough, you're going to get screwed. But Pods does a lot for them. I wouldn't worry about trading him. Kuminga is not. I think he's fine, but he wants a new contract anyway, so you're just getting off of him because you're not going to pay him. I don't think they're going to choose to pay him in the offseason anyway.
No, if you're the Warriors, you do that. The Warriors are on a almost opposite trajectory from OKC.
They need to swing.
Right, because it's like you're rebuilding soon anyways. Like you might as well go for it while you still have a chance.
For sure. Absolutely. All right. Well, the Grizzlies end up winning tonight. We kind of took a look around the league overall. There's nothing that kind of just popped out to me, but I wanted to talk about the Giannis stuff. I thought that was pretty interesting. But any last thoughts on tonight as a whole?
No, I mean, listen, the Wizards team is rough, but Grizzlies took care of business. I almost wore my tuxedo T-shirt because I was a business trip. That was a business occasion. They played really well. Yep. It's great to see Jaren play really well. I'm excited to see them continue playing. Really just following Grizzlies PR. That's the main thing I'm doing as a fan right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm hearing that roughly maybe it might be 7. I don't know if that's AM or PM, but somebody dropped in a 7 o'clock. We should find out a little bit more about him. I believe that's when he's going to get an answer, going to be reevaluated and stuff like that. I'm not exactly the time, but I saw a 7 in the discussions, and so I'm not exactly sure what they're exactly talking about. But it looks like there will be more info coming out pretty soon. But if you could, before you get out of here, go ahead and hit that like button if you don't mind. But also, if you're looking at the screen, it's simply a QR code. Scan it. Vote. It's very quick. Take you about 2 minutes. Vote for the rookies of the October, the Grizzlies best player of October, as well as maybe another team that you enjoy watching outside of your favorite team, which is the Grizzlies if you're watching this. But this is Grizz 901. I'm Daniel. That's Nate. Always a great time being here. We always try to have a little bit of fun, and we're trying to change some things up a little bit, see how we do things. I really liked going from Grizz Trivia to the breakdown. I think, one, it's early in the show, and I think that we might do the look ahead before we do the look around, because I'd like to do the look ahead more in depth, and usually that gets left out to dry. So that's something that I enjoy. So we're going to try to do that. So if you missed it, we do the breakdown, and Ryan usually does the breakdowns of the games as long as he has time, as long as I have time to make the graphics. But that's all we got for the night. We'll see you all back Wednesday as the Grizzlies take on a late night tip. It's a 9 o'clock Central tip. We'll be back here around 11:30. We'll see you then. Be nice and tell your friends.